Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 1 versus 1 on Slutsk, and I'm going to be playing with the 5th Cavalerie Motorizata with the balanced deployment type. I'm going to be up against Hobotango in this one, who's going to be using the 26th Panzer and the balanced deployment type. So this is game 1 of round 3 of the Steel Division League Season 9, Division 3. And myself and Hobo ended up on this map with these divisions after the picks and bans, which I will leave in the description if you want to check them out. But yeah, I was quite confident with my choice. I'm very familiar with this map, which is why I'm also glad we ended up on it. And I thought the 5th Cavalerie would kind of suit it okay, because not only do I have very strong infantry that can contest the town and the hill, which is super important on this map, but also I have like the Kostritsa and other support weapons to kind of help out in the open. So on the right at the start, I have a Breda 47mm, going to be heading up to this position in the light cover to cover this right and left road. I've also got an AT rifle squad that's going to be trying to push up on that far right side. I've got another 47 that's going to be trying to get into the light cover here with an AT rifle squad that's going to be unloading on the top of the ridge to try and stop any vehicles there. Got some Kalwaria heading into the middle with a Pioneer Kalwaria that's going to be pushing in with the 47 into this tree area, and a Kostritsa at the start that's going to be trying to get on top of this hill because it has a really good coverage over the town. Unloaded the AT rifle early on, got the Jager assault, I've got the Pioneer Kalwaria and the Kalwaria in the church and the 47 covering the road. On the left side, I've got another AT rifle squad with the leader 47, Panzerschreck, Kalwaria, Jager assault, Jager, Pioneer Kalwaria, AtkPwr and the 45 more AT guns there. On the right hand side early on, the 47 is trying to kill the Flammenwerfer. He did unload one of those Flammenwerfers and killed my AT rifle squad at the start, so that was unfortunate. But on the left side, the AT rifle squad has double solitaire, so able to take out one of these 250-10s quite easily. He's also going to be Focke-Wulf bombing my brother on the right hand side, so completely blasts open the right hand side early on with his units and gets into a position there, which makes sense. He does have the 26th Panzer, so he can control the open ground quite well, and his Flammenwerfers are going to be taking good advantage of that. So what I'm going to be doing is bring up a Jager so that I can kind of push the front line on the far right side. My Pioneer Kalwaria still got presence over this flag, surprisingly. So I'm currently sitting at a 13-11, and I'm pushing up on the left hand side. Jager kind of leading the charge so that they take all of the flamer shots, basically. And then the Jager assault following them up to get the SMGs and the Molotovs and so on target. It also allows my Pioneer Kalwaria to not be the one targeted by the flames and get its HE grenade off quicker. So yeah, push the Jager forwards first. They're a decent squad in themselves. And with the extra veterancy, we're able to just demolish a lot of his infantry up on this hill. And early on, you can see that he hasn't really invested in much here. The 250-10 being the only unit left on the hill, and my 47 or 45, sorry, going to be engaging that now as my troops move forwards as fast as they can to take as much ground here as quickly as possible. Because if I can secure this hill early on, I can control this flag in the top left, I control the flag on the bridge, and then it will cover me pushing into the town potentially. So I don't have to worry so much about losing my position on the right hand side. He's managed to get coverage over this flag now, so he has that under his control. And I'm just bringing in the AtkPwr and the 47 to cover here. So the 47 will cover against any of the transports coming down the road, and the AtkPwr will be able to spot any of these like flamethrower squads out in the open and kill them off. Or at least that was the plan. 47 here, unfortunately didn't hit the Sturm Pioneers before they unloaded. And you can see the Sturm Pioneers are going to be dropping their smoke there. My Kostritsa are still going to be able to get a shot off though. He's throwing smoke in both directions to try and block that off, but I get a decent chunk of damage in. My AtkPwr is currently trying to push forwards aggressively, but Hobo has brought up a couple extra 250-10s. He's going to trade one of the AtkPwr for the 250-10 there. I lose the other one for free, pretty much. Jager currently getting caught out in the open though by the Pioneers, and I'm still trying to cover off this side from the Sturm Pioneers. Now this was firing HE, maybe I should have turned it off HE because it's a lot more valuable to just use the AP rounds, but yeah, it's okay for now. Meanwhile, going to be continuing to put pressure in the middle because I realised at this point Look how many points he's invested over here. He's got a Panther A commander with a Panther D and a Grilla up on this hill. So I know very well that he has not got much on the left. So that's why I'm being extremely aggressive. His Focke-Wulf bomber is going to come in and get the 47 though, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to have to start investing in AA. So I've got a couple of 25 mils already heading up onto the hill to sit near the leader to get the extra Confederacy. That's going to be two 25 mil AA pieces. It's going to be able to stop those Focke-Wulfs from coming in and bombing on this left side. But I've got to deal with these double Pioneer, get towards this bridge as soon as possible, and basically prevent him from coming in. Currently the Kostritsa is doing a pretty good job as like a HE fire support, just forcing back the Pioneer on the bridge here. But I have managed to secure the flag in the town. We've got the flag on the hill now, fully secured. Pioneer Kalwaria going to be jumping forwards, dropping their HE, dropping back out. I'm going to assume that Hobo was maybe looking elsewhere at this point because he didn't notice that to micro out of the building. So I managed to get pretty much a free kill there, which was nice. Now I've got my AT rifle moving up, going to be getting some damage onto the 259. These AT rifles did really well throughout this match, so keep an eye on those. Focke-Wulf 190 though coming in for the Kostritsa, and this is horrible. It's horrible to watch this happen. The 450 kilogram bombs with the 250 kilogram bomb able to do the job, and I'm bringing the double BF-109 E7 to try and shoot that down. Thankfully the E7s are super maneuverable, so able to turn and get that kill, and then I'm going to go for the strafe onto the two MG34s, which is currently engaging the Pioneer Kalwaria that I was trying to move across to get into one of these buildings and hold this flag. So Hobo's going to see that coming, he's going to fall back to avoid some of the damage. Meanwhile, Begleit's going to be moving up onto the hill with the Roshare. Pioneers here trying to push into the town, but I've got the Breda firing, I've got the Kavalerie firing, so I'm in a pretty good spot. Kavalerie can provide a great amount of fire from the hill with that sniper rifle. Meanwhile, Roshare assault moving up, got the Begleits moving up. My AT rifle's in this building, which is super important because it's able to basically cut off the bridge from any transports moving up. And you might be wondering why I'm moving this Begleit so aggressively up, and that's because of 60-meter grenades. So the 259 here going to be taking a couple of grenades. Managed to get the kill. Now I'm going to be looking for the 250-10 as well. Hobotango realizes what I'm trying to do. Managed to get one grenade on him. I'm just trying to chase him and make sure that I get the last ones whilst the Pioneer here is on its last legs. So I'm just going to be moving back away from that 250-10 because I'm not going to be really able to catch up to it without it killing me off. Now we've got the Focke-Wulf 190 coming in for the bombing strike, and as you can see, AA is going to cover me off. The double 25 mil doing its job, and I realise that they're not two vets, so going to be moving them up to the leader here, which is quite important. Kalwaria are going to continue firing at the units on the low ground. Meanwhile, my Kalwaria here did manage to move up and get pressure onto this flag. The Roshare here currently just sitting in their truck. I think they were there for a little while. But Pioneer Kalwaria here going to be engaging Sturmpyos. At this range, these Sturmpyos can't use their flames because it's too close. And that's why you put them in the middle building here. But the Pioneer Kalwaria, I've got Beretta, the carbines, and I've also got the two ZBs, which are technically classed as automatic rifles. They're able to fire within 100-meter range, so that Sturm Pioneer goes down very quickly in the end. Meanwhile, Roshare assault going to be moving up, forcing the Pioneer out of the building there. And I've managed to clean up the Pioneer on the left here. So the 45 mil, that's going to take out the 250-10, and I've got the flags on the left. So it's a 16-8 in a balance versus balance matchup, which is a very, very good start for me. And it mainly comes down to the fact that he focused very hard on the right-hand side with all of these tanks, but he's not really making any ground there. Meanwhile, my AT rifle going to pop another 259 as it tries to push across the bridge. But yeah, all of this is just kind of sitting here doing nothing right now. And I'm just kind of covering off further back to make sure he can't get these flags. And even if he tried to go for these flags, it's very difficult for him to get them. But he's going to be moving across now with the Panther A and the Grilla. He realizes he's got to do something with that armor. Meanwhile, I'm bringing up a Commandant. Going to be getting some extra leadership onto the Hotchkiss here, and also potentially my infantry. Although I don't have a leader with the Roshare or Pioneer Kalwaria yet, which I probably should have had. Maybe it died at some point. But AtkPwr was going to be coming in to help cover from top of the hill. I eventually decided against that. I'm going to be moving them in to support the infantry at close range here. Because them being on the hill is kind of pointless, and if he brings in anything big like a panther here, they're just going to get sniped. So there's not really much point in me investing too much more into the top here if I can control this bridge from the bottom side. And I've got a really good position here, so that's what I'm going to be trying to continue to solidify. Yeah, a lot of tickets being chunked from him early on with this 16-8. AtkPwr going to be engaging the Pioneer. The 25mm up on the hill on the right hand side is going to be here to cover the Kostritsa. I figured I would bring in the 25mm first before the Kostritsa, just so that he couldn't bomb that. But the Kostritsa is basically there to engage the tanks, but I noticed that the tanks are actually moving from right to left as the Grille is zooming up that road. Anyway, meanwhile, Hobo has just really fully invested into this push. My AtkPwr is in a really good position because they can't be shot by the Famo, whilst they can still provide fire support onto the half-tracks, onto the Grenadiers, and you can see onto these Sturm. But I don't really have much infantry, and this Rosciare probably should have been falling back a lot sooner. I'm forced to move back with the AtkPwr because of the Panzerguns and the Panzerfaust. And with the 20mm fire, that Rosciare gets absolutely deleted. Going to be unloading a 45mm on the main road so that I can shoot some of these if he tries to push down. And I've got another 45mm that's going to be trying to get up on the ridge, put itself in the back garden up here and get some shots down onto the town. Kalwaria in the meantime going to get taken out by the Pak 40, so I am going to lose a little bit of recon coverage there for me. The Rosciare holding this position further back. I'm going to be taking out the leader there as well, which is really important. The Stug M41 goes down. But I have lost his flag because the units are kind of like moving from right to left here. You can hear them if you zoom in, so you can tell that they're around like this area. He's probably going to be in the light cover. But again, the Rosciare is still not unloaded. I probably should have had them unloaded a long time ago and moved them into the buildings up here. Anyway, I was really focused on covering off this left side. I really want to stop this advance into the town, not let him get too much ground, because otherwise it kind of unlocks the bridge for him again and he can start pushing up onto the ridge again. So currently bringing in more Rosciare. Got a Stug on the way, Begleit, another Stug. I did get to a point where I was a little bit complacent, I would say, and I was floating for a little while because I had such a big lead. Ultimately I shouldn't have been floating at all. I just need to keep getting units into the field, and especially a leader that can actually provide the veterancy that I've got from the commander here onto my infantry. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I didn't have another leader until next phase or something, I'm not sure. Anyway, we are in phase B. We've got 8 minutes left until phase C. Not that it matters too much because we have mirrored income, so if anything, it's only about what kind of units he can bring in. I was a bit worried with the 26 that he has the Werframens, and I feel like those are kind of scary to worry about. So I was kind of keeping an eye on that. But meanwhile, going to be bringing in the IAR off map, and this was quite simply to kind of slow his push and destroy any push that he had made into the town so far. So I've got Begleits coming up, 2 Rosciare pushing forwards, got the Stug, got the 45mm, and yeah, we're in a nice position here. Meanwhile, Kavalerie going to be forcing off some Pioneers that have come in on the right hand side, doing really well, those Kavalerie, holding that flag for way longer than they had any right to. Hobo's now going to move over though with the tanks because the Kavalerie, well, they can't really deal with armor. And my Kostritsa is not in line of sight, so I'm going to be losing that. But my AA is still holding the flag further back, which would probably make him apprehensive of pushing forwards. Meanwhile, off-map's about to fall down. Pak 40 does find a shot onto my Stug, so I'm having to back that into cover. And here finally comes another leader, the artillery leader. So yeah, I think what ended up happening was I kind of ran out of leaders in Phase A, which is why I didn't have leadership for this infantry. But the off-map's hitting well. It's even hitting the 105s as they're coming in, so that's good. Hobotango relying a lot on these Stugs. I'm a big fan of the 75-34 in a sort of fire, like a fire support role, because they have like decent rate of fire, like 12 round per minute rate of fire. The only issue, of course, is that they only have 10 HE rounds. The 105 I'm not a fan of at all because whilst it does have 4.1 damage, it's only 3 round per minute rate of fire, so it's not that good in my opinion. Anyway, Pak 40 is going to catch me out again here. That Stug driving right into line of sight of it. The first shot landing on target. I didn't notice this quick enough, so third shot's going to get off, and just as I give the reverse order, it's going to get the kill. So a little bit of a mistake on my part, just giving him a free Stug kill there. Meanwhile, on the right hand side, IAR came in, it rocketed the MG that was out in the open that was covering this flag, so I managed to get myself back another flag there, and the 25mm is going to force that to go home. And the AB also in the back garden here was getting some cracking shots into the side of these Stugs as they moved across. I wasn't entirely sure why Hobotango was being so aggressive here with these Stug M42s, because they don't really have the means to deal with infantry if they get close. They don't have an MG, for example, so they're not going to suppress very fast. It's very, very risky to just throw infantry into a town like this, particularly when your opponent could have Panzerschrecks or, you know, Panzerfaust or whatever. I do have the close range infantry AT, and the 45mm here getting free kills onto that 105, so that's good. The AB Usor still pinning down these units and doing damage over time. Same with the Rashari on the left, just free kills onto the 105s. Maybe Hobo was just kind of getting a bit impatient, but ultimately if he'd kept these at range and then used infantry to push forwards, I think it would have worked out a lot better. But the Stug here, I've got it in the back garden, it's covering this left side pretty well. Manages to shoot one of the Panzer IIIs and kill that. I'm just slowly breaking down all of this armour that Hobo's thrown at me. Another 75-34 going to be going down. This Stug M42 currently covering off this flag, stopping the 15-9. Which is going to buy him a little bit of time. But at the end of the day, it is all about the trades. Now here the AT rifle is going to kill the Panzer III. I should have had that in the building, but the reason it sat behind the building is because I purposefully put it on, turned off auto cover basically, so it didn't get shot in the past, but ultimately I should have put it back in the building afterwards so that it could shoot the transports on the road, because it would have done a lot of damage then. The Stug's still going to fire away onto the Pioneer there. Meanwhile up here, Pioneer's going to take out my Rashare. Kalwaria forced back. And he's finally moved all of his armour over to this side. Now this is where things are going to get a little bit difficult for me, because I don't really have a way to deal with the Panthers at long range at this point. I had 2 Kostritsa in phase A in my deck, and then I had the 6 Kostritsa in phase C, and currently there's still 3 minutes left on phase B. One of my Kostritsa is already dead, one of them's deployed on the right, so yeah, I don't really have a solution for these Panthers. If I had a Kostritsa up on this hill, that would be pretty great right now, because I could probably just demolish all of this armor that was coming in. But alas, I did not. So I, in fact, edited my deck after this game just to make sure that I had Kostritsa in phase B. And I think maybe in future, having Kostritsa in B and C might be better, but not having a Kostritsa in A and somebody investing quite heavily in armor can be kind of risky. So yeah, anyway, one of my squad's going to get wiped there by the Grille that has now come across. I've got 2 222s going to be pressing onto this flag just to wipe out the infantry, so the Rashari assault and the Pioneer assault can move forwards and secure that flag. So at the moment I'm just kind of trying to not lose too much to this armor, play it carefully so that I can then bring in the Kostritsa later on and capitalize on a lot of this armor that Hobo's bought and get back my advantage that way, or at least hold on to a 13-11 till the end of the game, because at the end of the day I don't really need to push a double tick, since it is a balance versus balance matchup. Stug 3 gonna get taken out. Panther D lands both of its shots there nicely. Bit unfortunate for me, since that Panther was unvet, but hey, it happens. Rashari looking for the AT onto the half track, actually misses as well. This has 80% accuracy, by the way. Yeah, that wasn't good. That Rashari not even pinned down at all. Nice move by Hobotango though. This is what he needed to do. So he unloaded some infantry and he walked them across. And he's got a couple of Panzergrens up here. They're going to outclass my Rosciari at range. I do have a couple of 60mm mortars up on the ridge, which I brought in to deal with the Pak 40. And also potentially like any AA that he was bringing in, because I do have quite a decent amount of aircraft. But check this out. The Panther D being shot from the left by the Breda 47 turns its back to the Solothurn, and I'm pretty sure the Solothurn actually got the kill by shooting that in the rear armor. So that was really nice. Meanwhile, Kalwaria just going to be pushing out the Pioneer here, because I saw that he moved the Grille and the Panther and the Commander, like the Panther Commander, over to the left. I know that this Pioneer is probably not covered off, so I'm just going to be coming in here, trying to take that out, take back that flag in the meantime, just kind of be annoying as he continues his push back onto this hill and into the town. So he has managed to secure the left side using the Panzergrens, and his armoured push is coming through here pretty successfully. All of these half-tracks, the Panzer IIIs moving through, the Pioneer Kalare kind of struggling. There's no like infantry AT on the Begleit or the Pioneer Kalare, and the Rosciari is already dead. So the Begleits here, they're going to be falling back. My artillery leader going to be stopping that from surrendering. And I do have my off-map that's going to be dropping on this position just to try and break up some of those units a little bit. Commandant going to be doing a little bit of runner. Got my Rosciari Stug coming in as well, and we're back to a 12-12. So Hobo recovering quite well from what was looking like a very quick victory for myself. He's managed to bring it all the way back from a 17 flag advantage in my favour to just 12-12 now. Meanwhile, this Solothurn having a go at the Panther A on the left does get a transmission damage. Nice crit for me. And I've got the Ju-87 coming in here. It is going to be attacked by the Sagittario, but the Sagittario gets forced off by my AA, and the Ju-87 gets a free 3 kills onto the Panzer IIIs. The Sagittario also going to be going down to the 3-star veterancy on these 25mm. Meanwhile, on the left, the Panzergrens are getting the better of my mortars, which is something that I didn't really notice till later on. But another Ju-87 coming in for the cluster onto this M42 7534. Since that has been pinned a little bit from the 88 over here, I was worried it wouldn't get the kill, but thankfully that had already been damaged a little bit. And I'm going to be bringing in the IAR to hit the half-tracks here. So just trying to hold off Hobo's attempt here at pushing into the town. I've also finally got my Rashidza because we moved into phase C. So that's moved up onto the hill. That's going to be helping cover as my Rosciari come in to save the day with the Stug 3. A couple more Rosciari here, and I've got my IAR coming in on the left for another off-map strike. So the plan was to probably off-map a little bit further back, just to, again, prevent his reinforcements from moving forwards. Meanwhile, Rashidza is going to clean out the half-tracks and stuff. And the Rosciari going to re-secure that flag. Back to 14-10 in my favour. Meanwhile, Pioneer Assault over here. I was trying to use the smoke to advance so that his unit behind these buildings couldn't fire on me, and I could just sneak into the building there. Or at least sneak behind the building in order to keep pressure on that flag. But Begleit's smashing the Sturm pyres as they come up on the hill. And a lot of his armour has been kind of taken care of. But now I'm going to be trying to get the IAR into a prime position. Currently it's providing quite nice recon, honestly. And Rosciari moving up onto the left to just help clean up the Panzergrens here. So nice off-map placed. See the M42s coming in, hoping that they're going to just drive straight into that. And meanwhile, Hobotango did bring in a Pioneer, removes my Pioneer from that position. You can see I've also got a Reshitsa on the ridge now. That's going to be trying to get into this position again. A little bit risky because I don't really have any AA on that side, but the Reshitsa on the hill is doing a good job of engaging the Grille. Has already pinned it down. Just needs to hit one more shot. Does take it out. Reshitsa is going to be fine. It's going to help me cover off quite nicely. IAR, Recon IAR, does get smacked by the 88. Gets taken out. I was bringing these in to help with the Panzergrens on the left because I saw how far my off-map IAR got up, but it seems like the Famo here is going to be able to get its shots on target and force that back. So off-map hitting nicely. Meanwhile, Rosciari are finding the engagement with the Panzergrens. They with the 3-star veterancy there, thanks to my leader. And just the Rosciari It's really, really nice in this situation. Like close range with the Beretta firing, with the semi-auto rifles, with the SB-30s firing. They can really rip through Panzergrens. It's very nice. And the Panzergrens can still pin quite fast, and the Panther A in this case was helping out with that. But I'm still in a relatively commanding position here, 14 to 10 with 4 minutes 20 left on the clock. So more Rosjare coming in, another Rashid-Tsar on the way. This Rashid-Tsar was going to deploy itself on the far left here so that I could get a shot into the Panther and any other armour that would try and help secure the hill from now on, whilst the 45 moves forwards into a position where it can maybe cover one of these roads. Stug going to be engaging the enemy Stug down the road, but is actually being engaged by the Farmer as well, so I'm forced to drop out from that engagement, turn it round the corner so it's behind the house there. And the Rosjare going to be moving it into position. So Rosjare, PNL assault just kind of holding position here. This Rosjare moving forwards to try and contest into the trees. On the left side, Rosjare getting pinned down by the Panzergrens and the half-track there. And yeah, things are slowing down a lot. Rashid-Tsar gets a nice fresh kill onto the half-track. This Rosjare is going to be pushed off, so I am going to be losing that flag temporarily. But we now have the IAR coming in with the rocket strike. That's going to be killing the 3-man squad that was left in this building, so that's going to give me the flag there. So I'm still managed to hold on to the 13 to 11 and just letting them push into me, take lots of damage in the process, and yeah, just kind of covered off the right side now. Managed to get this little compound back, as you can see. Yeah, contesting this flag. Bringing in more infantry just to help push through the town. I'm always going to have more infantry than he is because he's 26 Panzer, so I can just utilize that, kind of like grind his infantry down over time. Hotchkiss here, now going to be found. Probably should have started moving them back sooner, but they're on the front line. One of them's going to go down, the other one's currently engaging the 251. Rashid-Tsar on the left does help take care of the Stug M42, and I believe was putting pressure onto the Panther. Panther ended up running away to the right hand side. S25's doing a runner. Rashadi, Begleit's going to be trying to cover that. The leader should be falling back here because I'm kind of waiting for more infantry to come in. When you bring in infantry on this map, especially if you place it up on the hill, it loves to drive up this road and take a left, which is really risky. So I had to constantly bring in units on the far left here and then give them another order to unload at position on the hill, and that was quite frustrating to have to manage because I would often forget a little while about my infantry on the left there. But Rashid-Tsar in the position up on the hill, doing a great job, and I think at this point I'd maybe like made Hobo believe that I had enough AA to stop his Focke-Wulf strikes, because I was surprised that this didn't get bombed sooner. Or maybe he just had his bombers on cooldown or something. Anyway, Stug 3 going to be engaging the enemy Stug, the Stug M42. I'm going to be losing this Stug to the Pak 40. This Stug currently failing the engagement against the M42, finally kills it off. It should have been a lot sooner though. PNL Kalari, Rosjare coming in. 1 minute left on the clock. So loads more infantry piling onto this hill. Just making sure that I keep control of my position up here. The Rashid-Tsar with 2 health, currently kind of covering the road next to the river. Begleits are going to go down though. The Panzergrens with these MG34s still able to do nice damage at range, but the 3-star Veteran C definitely helping a lot with damage resistance. There's 25 mil on 1 health, engaging the 251. Going to be rushing up with the Rosjare to try and help that, but the 25 mil does get the job done. Rashid-Tsar meanwhile takes out the Panther A as it pushes forwards. And we got 20 seconds left on the clock. Panzergrens on the left going to be going down in the town. We're killing off more Panzergrens as well. We're trading well with the infantry. Managed to kill the Pioneer in here as well. Do take a HE grenade to the face, but that's going to put pressure over that flag now. And that's going to be the end of the game. A minor victory after 28 minutes and 54 seconds. Pretty tough game, honestly. Like, initially, Hobo's strategy was kind of weird because he went to the right side, which is okay to do, with the Guerrilla, with the Panther D, Recon, and the Commander, which makes sense because you got Veterancy, you got HE fire support for 2k, and you've got Recon. But he didn't really push with it at all, or like secure any like further flags. I mean, ultimately, if he had like committed to that, then I would have also committed to it, probably with like aircraft or whatever. So he would have had to bring in like AA before he can make that push and so on. So I think this was like a little bit of a bad strategy initially from Hobo. Like, it can work on that right side, but he didn't really follow through with it. And then he lost control of the hill, which he had to spend most of the game trying to take back. And he was successful in getting back into the town, back on the hill, which was really, really well played. But like, ultimately, the damage had already been done. I was sitting at like 15 to 9 for like way too long. And I was well ahead in tickets at that point. So I just had to keep like poking his flags in other places. And you can see that I was trading well throughout the game. So I was at a 1k advantage, like 3,115 kills to 1,935 losses at like 28 minutes. It's quite a significant difference. So that basically means that I have roughly 1,000 more points than him left on the field than he does at that point. But yeah, Rusciale doing well there. My off-map didn't really kill too much, but it definitely prevented him pushing so hard, because it would make a lot of his units fall back and it would like chip the units quite a lot, so my infantry could clean them up. You see my AB Horchia, I actually failed to point this out, but the 222 actually came along in the middle and in the light cover between the two heavy cover bits just before the middle flag. The Panther A came up and my 222 was just like shooting it in the side armor for a very long time because it was stuck with the elevation. It couldn't get its gun low enough, like gun depression. So the Panther just like died to the side shots from the 222s. And the reason it didn't face front armor is because I had the AT rifle shooting it from the other side. It was quite funny. I don't think Hobo noticed at the time. Or maybe he did and he was getting frustrated by it. But either way, yeah, managed to kill off the Command Panther, killed off the Panther A or Panther D afterwards with the Breda side shot from the town. I actually thought the AT rifles got out, but the AT rifles as well were like really good. They were just basically stopping all of that light armor from really getting the better of me, like up here. The 215-10, the 259, the Panther 3. And they actually have a decent amount of penetration, so at close range, tanks, medium tanks specifically, have to be very, very careful. But yeah, nice little bit of an air attack at one point, coming in with those Ju-87s, cleaning up some of the armor in the middle. The Kostritsa killed the Guerrilla, Panther A, M42, and this was where things just kind of fell apart from his push, and he couldn't quite seal the deal, or at least, you know, stop the advantage that I had at this point in the game. But yeah, GG to Hobo. I think he did well, really well, to get back into the town and onto the hill, but I definitely got complacent with that positioning that I had. Definitely should have reinforced the hill a bit more to prevent those two Panzergrenadier squads from just cleaning me out pretty much. But yeah, great stuff. That's going to be the first game versus Hobo, so that's going to put me 3-2 in the Steel Division League. If I win the next game against Hobo, then I'm guaranteed to move on to the playoffs, which would be the first time, because in the last season I didn't make it to playoffs. So that's really cool. So I'm kind of happy with this victory. It was a bit closer than I would have liked, especially towards the end, after what was a very strong start. But ultimately, yeah, Hobo, he's a decent player. So GG to him. I'll be back in the next video with game 2 of this series. So hopefully I'll see you guys then. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.